Hello, and welcome to Granny's Family Meals. I'm so glad you're joining us today. Today I'm doing just a simple meal. It's my take on fettuccine Alfredo, which is one of my favorite meals. Of course, I always tell you it's one of my favorite meals. That's because I love almost everything that's out there. Today we're going to do, we're going to put chicken in it, and artichokes. We're going to put carrots in it, and asparagus. So we're going to go ahead and start by grating my cheese. One of the things that I usually do is just a white cheese. I use a Jack cheese, but in my box store locally, I found this cheese that had basil and garlic already in it. So I was very excited about that. I thought, what a time saver that'll be. Now, this is going to be the first time that I'm using this type of cheese, so I will find out how strong it is. I suppose I could probably taste that. Let me see. Well, it's not real strong, but it is very, very good. So we're going to use a cup of cheese. You can use Jack or mozzarella even. Use your favorite cheese. We're going to get that ground down. Again, I like to I like to shred my cheese. I like to shred my cheese fresh. With the stuff that you buy in the bags, I understand there's a chemical that they put in it, and we try to stay away from the chemicals as much as possible. So that's about a cup right there. We're going to go ahead and put it into this bowl. There we go. Yeah, that looks perfect. So set that aside. And now I'm going to go ahead and get my roux going. Now, on one of the past shows, we had the gal from Whittier who did the roux and talked about it, that you usually make it with flour and some kind of fat, whether it's oil or butter. Today I'm going to go ahead and use butter. So I'm going to turn on my cook, and I'm also going to turn on my water to boil it for the fettuccine. So we're going to go ahead and turn that on. Where's my butter? There it is. I'm going to go ahead and melt my butter. And let's get this going. I also am going to fry up my chicken. And this one over here is for my veggies that I'm going to fry. I'm going to fry the asparagus along with what the heck are they? Artichoke hearts and the carrots. Not a lot, just a little bit. So this is melting, coming along quite nicely. So let's melt this butter, and then we're going, as soon as the butter's melted, which will be pretty quick here, we're going to go ahead and add the flour. We're doing 2 tablespoons of butter to 2 tablespoons of flour. This, and then we'll stir it for about 2 full minutes. But we want to wait until we get the flour in there. And you want to make sure not to burn the butter, because butter is really easy to burn. So here there's our flour. And we're going to go ahead and stir it for 2 minutes now. When learning to make the roux was not something that I particularly had wanted to learn to do, but when I watched the cooking shows like everybody else, and I saw that it really is quite simple to make. Look at that. That's it. Just butter and flour. We can add a little bit of salt and pepper, which I will do. Not a lot, just a little bit. I don't do a lot of salt. I think I've told you that. I much prefer the pepper. You yourself are going to want to season this to taste. So we're going to get the roux going. And you do want to make sure to stir it the whole time so, once again, it doesn't burn. It very easily could burn. I have this on a low heat. I had it on a high heat just to melt the butter. And I've got it on a low heat right now because I don't want to burn the butter, or medium low heat. I'm going to we're going to use 2 cups of heavy whipping cream. And, yum. So Meanwhile, I'm getting the water to boil for the fettuccine. Now, you could use angel hair pasta. You could use linguine. You could use any kind of pasta you want on this. For this particular dish, I do like the fettuccine. So this is coming along nicely. And we're about at 2 minutes. So, one of the other things the chicken that I'm using is called chicken tenders. They're on the breast, they're the small little piece that will be attached to the breast, and that is much more tender, quicker to cook too. So that's about 2 minutes. And what I want to do is I want to go ahead and pour half my heavy cream, about a cup, in at this time. Get it going. So we want to stir that for about a minute and get it all mixed in. We really do want to mix it well. Getting that going. And with the fettuccine, you want to cook it to al dente state if you like it that way. I like it cooked all the way. I don't want it a little crunch to the fettuccine myself, but everybody's a little different. So cook it according to the way your family likes it. That's coming along nicely. We don't want to really bring it to a boil. We want to simmer it more than anything. This is the cream sauce that we're going to be doing. And looks really good. Okay, so I want to go ahead and I want to add the rest of the cream. There. And I'm going to add the cheese. The cheese will thicken it up. Now, if you find that your sauce is still too thin, you can add additional flour or additional cheese. Like I said, this is a real easy light sauce. And so while we're waiting for that to all melt down, looks like the water's almost ready to put our fettuccine in. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the heat for the chicken so that we can get that all nice and cooked. Usually at this point, I would go ahead and put in my garlic powder, and I'm going to go ahead and use the onion powder. There's no onion in my cheese, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. I imagine that you could also use regular onion, but I would saute it first in another frying pan before I do that. Okay, so I'm turning this on low, and then I'm going to go ahead and get my chicken ready. Now, on my cutting table, I have put a plastic mat so that we don't contaminate it. And I'm just using a whole bag of chicken tenders. Ooh, they just don't want to come out, do they? It comes in a 3-bag set, and I'm choosing not to do all that much chicken because I don't want to take away from the pasta. I like frying my chicken a little bit, getting a little bit of the brownness to it. I just find that it's just more flavorful. And before I do that, I'm going to add my salt. Remember how we learned that adding salt prior to frying things made it just a little bit more flavorful. So let me wash my hands. There we go. Dry those. Once again, we want to stir our sauce. Ooh, I can't wait to taste that. So let's go ahead and we're going to cut up the chicken just into a few big chunks. We don't need it in bite-sized pieces. We just want to make sure that it's going to cook a little faster than what your regular chicken would cook, which is why we're using the tenders. We should be able to get the chicken cooked in about 15, 20 minutes. And we'll start it on the show, and during the commercial break, we'll go ahead and finish cooking it. Look at this. Okay. So, don't want to burn that butter there. And I'm just going to do the rest so we can have some big pieces in there too for the men. For the men. And, okay, let's move this over into the sink. I need to wash all that raw chicken off my hands. Remember, you want to always wash your hands after you have handled raw meat. It's really important that you do that. So, it's dry. And let's go with that. And move on. Ooh. So, in layering your chicken, you want a single layer. Otherwise, you just end up steaming it, and you won't end up browning it. Depending on how much butter and everything you put in, that is entirely up to you. So, okay, looks like the fettuccine, the water for the fettuccine is all boiling. So I'm going to add my fettuccine now. And put it in there so that all of it cooks at the same time. Okay. There we go. I did not salt my water, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. That's the only thing that will give that pasta the flavoring that we're looking for. So, let's go ahead and turn this chicken. We don't want it to overcook. And we want to start heating up the pan for the vegetables that we're going to cook. And I'm just going to put that on low. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, coming out nice and white. That means I had too much liquid. I had too much liquid in there. That means I had too much liquid in there. So, once again, you want to watch how you cook it, how much liquid that you put in there. Yeah, it's coming along nicely there. All right, let's go ahead. Almost done with turning my chicken over. I want to make sure to cook it on both sides. And because it's poultry, it is really important that you cook it all the way. You don't want any pink on the poultry, unlike on your red meat, you know, and stuff like your steaks and that sort of thing. You can go ahead and do those. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and chop down my artichokes so that they're more in bite-sized pieces. That doesn't look that good. I'm going to go ahead. And you can put as much or as little as you want. Another thing that you could do is roasted roasted peppers, or sun-dried tomatoes, which would add nice sweetness to it. I am not doing that at this time. The family that I'm making this for doesn't do tomatoes real well because of allergies. So once again, we want to think about the allergies that people have that are out there. Okay, there's that. And now let me rinse my hands a little bit. Okay, for the carrot, I'm just going to go ahead and peel it to get the thinner slices. That way it'll cook much faster than if I had not. And look at the mess that I'm making. This is more for color. Once again, you know how much I love to put color in a dish, and that's what I'm doing with the carrot. It won't take away from the flavor at all. but it'll certainly add the color to it. Okay, let me check my chicken and my sauce. Oh, my sauce is getting nice and thick. That's perfect. That's just going to make a terrific cream sauce. This is just a real simple cream sauce, nothing really big. People tend to really like it. And the next thing I'm going to do is my asparagus. You know how much I love asparagus. And we're going to go ahead, we're going to go ahead and cut this down into bite-sized pieces. Yeah. And we're going to cook this not all the way. I don't like mushy asparagus. I do like my asparagus to have a little crunch to it. So there's that. And we're doing good here. Okay, it's about time for us to go ahead and take a commercial break. We'll go ahead and take a break, and then we'll come back and we'll finish off our meal. Welcome back. We're about ready to finish up our meal. During the commercial break, I went ahead and I cooked the asparagus, carrots, and the artichoke hearts. The sauce is done, the chicken is done, and the fettuccine, that just finished up. We're going to go ahead and pour that into the colander. So, let's go ahead and get this poured. Now, normally on the show, I will go ahead and rinse out my my noodles, but today I'm going to pass on that. So, okay, we're going to bring this out on the plate. Ooh. Yo, that was hot. Yeah, I burned my hands a little bit. there, but that's okay. Because the reason that I am not rinsing this off like I normally do is because I really do want the starch in this dish so that it will go ahead and not help to thicken up the sauce itself. So let's go ahead and we're going to get some of the chicken. Now with the chicken, because we went ahead and fried it so long, you can see that, whoa, the chicken was okay. Yeah, I got it together. Now, you can see that the chicken has fried up nicely. We fried it up for quite a while. So let's go ahead and we're going to move it over to the table here or the counter. And I'm just going to add it. Ooh, smells so good. We just fried it up in butter and olive oil, salt and pepper. We did that. And it is all cooked all the way through. I just can't stress enough how important it is to go ahead and cook it all the way through like that. Well, that looks to be pretty good. We're going to go ahead and send that over back to the cooktop. And we're going to get the vegetables. Doesn't that look terrific? And look at all that color. I just love color in food. You know, they say a big part of eating is eating with your eyes. And so we want to kind of make this, right? Oh, it smells so yummy. So there we go. Yeah, doesn't that look terrific? Okay. Now, you can see how the sauce is thickened up. See that there? And let's see. Let me get a spoon for that. Here we go. You can get a ladle or a spoon, but I just want to spoon this over for presentation. And then save some of the sauce for once you serve your guests. They can use extra of the sauce. Now, because my cheese already had basil in it, I am just going to use the basil here for decoration. And put it however you want on there. I want some pretty leaves out there, so I'm going to stick to the pretty leaves. Okay, let's take a look and see. Now, you're probably wondering about this seasoning. This is the Cajun seasoning that my little sister loves so much. And yeah, I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of that there. She puts it in everything. So this is for you, Mary. Okay, what do you think of my dish? I think that it looks amazing. And we need to taste it, don't we? Get the fork out. And I'm going to go ahead and cut a little bit of this chicken. See, make sure that it's tender. Maybe I ought to do a smaller bite. Huh? Perfect. Oh, the whole thing is perfect. And my sauce, I'm going to taste that with a spoon. See, we're going to be feeding everybody after this show, so I don't want to contaminate it with my germs. Well, that's really awful. No, it's not. It's pretty darn good. I really want to thank you for tuning in to the show today. I have so much fun cooking, and I think that, and I hope that I have tried to show you really how easy it is to cook a meal for your family. You can do it in 30 minutes to an hour. A lot of times you can do this in the crock pot. Go to church on Sundays, put everything in the crock pot, go to church, and when you get back, your meal would be ready for you. I want to thank you for tuning in. Try to have at least one family meal with your entire family. Finding out all the information. We're going into the summer season now, and so we're going to be very busy with baseball and soccer and stuff. So one meal, find out what they're doing. I really want to thank you for tuning in, and may God bless.